Hello, I'm Johnny Rowland, your host of The Shooting Show, and welcome to today's program. Now, friends, I'm holding the little MECTEC carbine conversion unit, and let me tell you what, this set the woods on fire last week. So many people were so impressed, and justifiably so, because one, if you already have a 1911, you can take the frame from your 1911 and any 1911 magazine. This, of course, is a 10-round magazine we have in the gun. You can order the MECTEC carbine conversion unit. It will slip right on your frame, or your frame will slip right into it. Just the neatest, slickest thing I ever saw. And honestly, friends, 10 rounds, and you know, with the infinite wisdom of the Clintonians, you can only buy 10-round magazines at a reasonable price now that are currently made. But 10 rounds of our 460 Rowland cartridge is equal to 30 or 40 rounds of 223 Remington in your AR-15, so you don't give up anything. We've had bush pilots calling from Alaska wanting to buy these things, in fact ordering these guns or the conversion units so they could put them in their airplanes, because with our 230 grain full metal jacket bullet, you can deal with any grizzly bear. If you got to shoot the gun, got to hit them, but penetration-wise, you can defend yourself against anything walking in North America. So this is, friends, it is so important. Every one of these things that we can sell, we're going to get a little cut on it. We don't get a lot, but we get a little, and if we get enough of them sold, guess what? Suddenly it helps us stay on the air. That's why we're here today, is because we've had enough donations, we've been able to sell enough to get here today. I don't know what we're going to do in 2 weeks, but for real, we appreciate all the interest in the little MECTEC CCU carbine conversion unit. We're going to refresh your memory on just how slick it is. We'll go back and take some shots from last week, because this has been one of the most exciting, or certainly creating excitement among our audience, things that we've ever had on the program. And they're retailing for $325 to our audience. Now, because it's the new Magnum model, it's going up a little bit. They're going to be retailing at $345, but for our shooting show audience, for now, it's $325, and guess what? No registration. We can send it to you. We can send these things in the mail. Isn't that great? I think it is, because it's going to be something that is so useful. A lot of people don't shoot handguns that well, but you know what? Anybody at all can shoot this thing. It's easy. The little dot scopes, you can take your choice of there are a variety of dot scopes out there you can put on these guns. This one I borrowed from Jerry Michalik. It's a holo sight, but there are a number of other good ones. They will be offering an iron sight model sometime in May, so we're certainly looking forward to that. I think a lot of people are going to really go for this dot scope, however, and you can find these for under $100 many places around the country. ADCO makes one, Tasco, a lot of people. Anyway, friends, the reason we're so excited here, because if we can sell these things in numbers, see, that's going to go a long way toward keeping us on the air. And that's what our fight's about. We've got to reach more people on television. That's where we're losing our battle as gun owners every day, because there's not enough gun TV. That's why we're working so hard trying to get our uplink running over in Alabama. And speaking of Alabama, we're going to have a fun gun day in the Muscle Shoals area, and it's Muscle Shoals, Florence, Sheffield, and Tuscumbia, all there together. It's in northwest Alabama. It's going to be on May 6th. We're going to have a machine gun match. We're going to have our friend from Smith & Wesson out there. He's going to bring his guns. He's going to bring ammo. You can shoot your guns. We're going to have a great time, and yes, we'll be letting people shoot the MECTEC carbine conversion unit. So please write that on your calendar. It's going to be a great time had by all. Now, friends, I don't think I have to tell you what's going on in Washington, D.C., and we do hope. I've been pretty tough on the NRA of Wayne LaPierre in the past, but this past week, Wayne developed a little courage and actually said something that we believe to be true, that the Clintonians need a level of violence so they can force more gun confiscation. They don't care about gun control. They want to take them up, friends. If you agree with me, and most of you who watch this program do, if you want to help us stay on the air, please send whatever you can to The Shooting Show, 327 Irvin Rowland Road in Duberly, Louisiana. The zip code is 71024. And let me remind you, even if we can't stay on television, we're on the American Freedom Network right now. I don't know how long I can do it, but we're doing it daily now. We're doing a daily show for 2 hours on the American Freedom Network. Now, their location on satellite, if you don't get us on your local radio, is S4 Channel 19 5.82 audio. You can listen worldwide on the internet. And please write this down. The American Freedom Network is at www.americanewsnet.com, and you can get us worldwide live on the internet. Now, our programs are running on weekdays from 3 until 5 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern Time, 2 to 4 Central, 1 to 3 Mountain, 12 until 2 Pacific Time. So please, please make a note of this, because I don't know if we can stay on TV or not for now. I don't know, but we're on the radio and we can still get our message out. But friends, it's got to be done on TV. We have a great show for you today. We'll have a piece from Larry Pratt a little later in the program from Gun Owners of America. And we're going to go back and refresh you in just a moment. We'll go ahead and take our break, but immediately coming back from the break, we're going to refresh you with what a great idea this MECTEC carbine is, and we'll give you their phone number. If you want to call them, certainly you can order these things through our program, 327 Irvin Rowland Road. You can also call MECTEC. They can even retrofit if you already have one of their 45 ACP carbines, for a fee, of course. Their number is area 406-882-4255. So let us hear from you. We'll be right back after the break with the MECTEC and some more neat stuff.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
Now, friends, here's one of the most important publications you can get. This is the Great Georgia Arms Catalog, and please write their phone number down, 1-800-624-6861. This is a tremendous catalog with the best ammunition prices available in the United States. Okay, well, here's a mention of the Shooting Show. Hey, that's reason enough to support them right there, but you get superior ammunition at superior prices. Let's look over here. Let's see, what do we see? 460 Rowland, yes indeed, but we also see a tremendous number of other things. 45 ACPs, 44 Magnums, 41 Magnums, certainly our defense load there, defense special 41 Magnum load available, but all kinds of others. 9mm, 357 SIGs, 44 specials, 30-06s, 7 mags, all kinds of neat stuff. Plus they have components. If you want to load your own, they'll sell you lead bullets, they'll sell you nostril bullets, all kinds of great features. Yes, in fact, they'll even sell you a 460 Rowland kit for the great 1911 guns. Cleaning accessories. Here's gunpowder for sale, loading equipment for sale. Friends, give them a call today. These are some of the finest people, period, that I've ever had a chance to meet. Curtis Shipley and our good friend Larry Haney from Georgia Arms, and they're helping to support the Shooting Show. Give them a call today. Get a free catalog, 1-800-624-6861. And please don't forget to tell them you saw it here on our show. And ladies and gentlemen, here we are again. Hello, this is Johnny Rowland. This is the Thinking Right radio show, or as someone put it yesterday, the Shooting Show on the radio. And we are very pleased to be here. Here we are doing our daytime weekday version of our Thinking Right radio show, and certainly We'll be talking about guns and gun issues today, and wherever you are, we're glad that you're with us around this still great country of ours, whether you're listening on the internet or you're listening on your local radio station or driving around in your automobile. And we realize that a number of you our affiliates are growing daily all over this country. And let me tell you what, friends, it's a great privilege to be here talking with you, because the simple fact that we have a national, even international forum for ourselves as conservative, gun-owning, patriotic Americans is something that we think is very special. We will be taking some phone calls today if you'd like to be on our program with a comment, or if you have some conversation that you think is important and you'd like to tell people all over the United States. Well, you can do that by calling us at area 970-689-8255. Again, area 970-689-8255. We have a large number of things to talk about on today's program, and I will be joined shortly by my good friend Leroy Scott, and hopefully in a few minutes, if he can break loose, we're going to have Larry Pratt with Gun Owners of America come on and talk with us about some things going on in Washington and some things that we as gun owners are really concerned with. You know, friends, I've been pretty tough on Wayne LaPierre with the National Rifle Association, justifiably so. And I think that the NRA desperately needs some new management, but I'm going to give them this. Somewhere this past week, old Wayne developed a little spine somewhere, and he was absolutely correct. In fact, maybe he's been watching the shooting show, I don't know. But we've been saying that the Clintonians, the anti-gun people, need a level of violence. They need these tragedies in schools and other places so they can push their anti-gun agenda. And look, this is not about gun control. This is about gun confiscation. That's what this is about. And friends, it has got to be dealt with. It's got to be addressed now, because if we don't do it now, hey, we're not going to have any left. We're not going to have guns left in our society. There will be no more American gun owners. We're going to go right down that road of the folks that went to the cattle cars years ago. We know what happened to them. And we don't want it here in the United States. Now, yesterday, we had some fun with this when we got from CBS News, of all places, CBS, that more children die in bathtub accidents per year than do firearms accidents in the home. About twice as many, actually. About 40 some odd children die per year from firearms accidents in the home, and about twice that number die from drownings in bathtubs. Now, that ought to tell you a couple of things. One, the liars in Washington, the misleaders in Washington, misleaders as in the New York media, the London media, the internationalists, the people, the globalists who want to control every facet of our lives, they're flatly not telling us the truth. Where are the bathtub police? Now, wait a minute, friends, this is serious stuff. And listen, this same bureau that we named the Bureau of Soap Suds, Bathroom Tissue, and Bathtubs, we got to do something about bicycles. We need to have armed guards at every swimming pool in America, because a lot of kids drown in swimming pools. In fact, a lot of people drown on the beach. I guess we'll have to mine the beaches and have military attachés at the beaches to prevent anybody from going swimming, because guess what? There's some danger there. How about the children that are injured or killed with baseballs, or all kinds of things that are going on today that are much more dangerous than the ownership and possession of firearms?
Just put the frame in place here on the bottom side of the MECTEC and push it forward. Now then, we'll insert the slide stop pin just like so. And friends, there's the neatest carbine I've ever seen. Here's the Mini 14 with factory 223 ammo. A lot of people have these for home defense. Let's see it in the dark. A little rapid fire here. Rather bright, wasn't it? Let's try that again. Okay, let's try the same drill with our 460 carbine and see what it looks like shooting in the dark. Try it again. So not nearly as much noise or muzzle flash from our 460.
The occasional school shootings that have been magnified in the media to proportions of epic disaster can be greatly curtailed, but not by more gun control laws. The solution is quite simple. Enable adults to carry concealed firearms in schools. Such an easy thing to do, of course, meets with howls of disbelief from those advocating civilian disarmament. Their disbelief is actually one of the best evidences that the aim of gun control is to disarm everybody but the government. Gun control advocates claim that a gun in the hands of a teacher, principal, janitor, or some other adult in a school is more dangerous than an armed killer with the only firearm at the scene of the crime. Disarmament activists want to live in this fantasy world no matter how much their views do not match the real world. Gun controllers are convinced that all they need to do is pass more restrictions on gun ownership, and the bad guys will get the message and stop committing crimes. Also part of their fantasy world is an upside-down view of who you can trust. Gun controllers are willing to trust bad guys to obey the law, but insist on viewing the whole population with grave suspicion. You and I are viewed as too crime-prone, and certainly too irresponsible to be trusted with a firearm, much less a concealed firearm at a school. My recent trip to Israel yielded proof that guns save lives and that disarmament kills. In 1974 in Israel, there was a dreadful attack on a group of school kids, killing over 30. After a national debate, the country's parliament, the Knesset, decided that bad guys would not obey additional Israeli gun control laws. So Israel set about arming principals, teachers, and in some of the conflict zones, parents, to protect students at school. When I was in Israel, it was very common to see young men in their 20s protecting groups of school kids sightseeing in Jerusalem or elsewhere in the country. The only time school kids have been killed since 1974 in Israel was when a group of students were touring a peace shrine on the Jordanian border and were told to leave their guns before entering. A Jordanian soldier was able to kill some of the defenseless students. Guns really do save lives, but not if we insist on laws that ensure that only the bad guys will have them. This is Larry Pratt in Washington.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gun Owners of America is helping to support the shooting show. If you'd like to find out how you can become a member of this no-nonsense, no-compromise organization in Washington, D.C., fighting this fight every day for us on Capitol Hill, call them. 888-886-GUNS. A free phone call, 888-886-GUNS, and find out how you can join Gun Owners of America today. And don't forget to tell them you saw it here on our show.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
Now, friends, if you need a holster for your 460 Rowland or your other type of handgun, you can call our friend Dennis Crocker at area 864-587-8722. He's offering Kramer holsters at good prices, the very best holster money can buy. Give Dennis a call, and please tell him you saw it on our show.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to look at a couple of important rifles, certainly important historically. The rifle on your right is the short magazine Lee Enfield SMLE, or the British Enfield and 303 British chambering. These were very famous guns used all over the world, still being used in places like
Pakistan and Afghanistan, places like that. They were very reliable, rugged designs, shot the .303 British Enfield cartridge. And the gun over on the left here is called the Jungle Carbine. Now the standard longer rifle over on your right has a barrel length of around 25 inches and certainly is not a small gun. So one of the ideas that, I don't know if it was the special forces for the British Army, but for jungle fighting, and that's why it's called the Jungle Carbine, this gun here in the foreground has a barrel length of about 19 inches, and you'll notice on the end of the barrel here is a flash hider. The action itself is a fairly straightforward bolt design. Of course, here's your safety over here on the left, and these guns were not considered to be as strong as, say, the Mauser actions, but for the caliber that they were in, which was .303 British originally, it was certainly more than adequate, and a lot of people have used these guns all over the world for hunting in North America, Africa, Australia, many other places, wherever the British influence was felt. These are still good and serviceable guns. In comparison to, say, the Mauser type action, notice the bolt handle is turned down, where we have the Mauser over here. The bolt handle was straight out, which was more easily manipulated with gloves in cold weather climates, but the British didn't see the need for that. I suppose certainly having the bolt handle turned down made stacking these guns more compact. But it has some remarkable differences, one of which, look at the stock design, where instead of a swell there behind the trigger guard that we normally think of as a pistol grip or something, you actually had a recess. And of course the old Mauser here has a straight grip. But the British had definite ideas about doing things, and this one did work. Friends, we're looking here at the Mauser action. You see this big claw extractor that rides on the side of the bolt here, and of course the locking lugs here on the front part of the bolt. And this was a terrific system, one that's been actually licensed by our own government in the 1903 Springfield, and you see this in many new rifles of today. In fact, you can still buy the Mauser actions. Very fine action, and you'll notice, let's see if we can see this, push the magazine follower down out of the way here. Here's the ejector right here at the end of the bullet nose. That little piece of metal sticks out, and there's actually a cut here in the bolt for the ejector, and that's what pushes the empty hull out. When it comes back, it hits that little side piece and the hull flies out to the right. The British system is somewhat novel. Let's take a look at it. Here's the Enfield system. Here you'll notice there's just certainly an ample extractor, but not the same thing, certainly not made the same way as the Mauser. And here's one of your locking lugs here back behind the bolt head or the cartridge head. This is a locking lug. There's another one, a smaller one on the bottom side for a rear lockup. But let me show you something. Look right here. Your ejector is that little tiny piece of metal that you can hardly see at all on the Enfield, and that seems pretty unlikely to me. Here, we can take the bolt out, maybe you can see a little better. Very simple maintenance here, very easy to take down. There is your ejector, that little piece of metal right there. And what happens, of course, when these are rimmed cartridges, the cartridge rim would hit it there, and it would push out the cartridge, the empty, out of the gun. Like I said, a very unlikely design, but it does work. Now here's a .303 British cartridge here, friends. Here is a 30-06 case, which is very common, and here's one of the empty British cases, and you can see the 30-06 is called a rimless because the rim does not extend past the case body. And of course here is the .303 British, which actually is a little broader in the base, although it does not run at the same pressure as the 30-06 does. But you can see the difference in the rim sizes here, and this would not be the first choice if you were designing a firearm. However, it was a very workable choice. It made these things work well in machine guns too, a good machine gun cartridge caliber. Here's a 30-30 to compare the size of the 303 British. Actually, instead of the 30-06, the 303 compares closely in power to the 300 Savage, which certainly is a serious hunting cartridge, not up to the power standards of the 308 or the 30-06 American, but still a very potent battlefield cartridge.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show.
In comparison, the two guns, you can see there's quite a bit of, well, about 5 or so inches difference in length. They have the same overall stock design behind the trigger guard. But one, the 303 British is still a pretty big rifle as battlefield guns goes. And the Jungle Carbine, to me, it fits a lot of the criteria that Jeff Cooper calls his scout rifle at much, much less money. These guns are out there in pretty good quantity. You can find them. They're not that rare, shall we say. And I tell you what, for someone who wants a lightweight, easy handling gun that's going to have some pretty serious power, the 303 British is no joke when it comes to power.
Friends, we're out of time on today's program. We want to remind you, in April, the Shooting Show will be moving to a different transponder on the same satellite. We'll still be on E2. We'll be moving to Channel 22. Please make a note of this. And a broadcast copy of our shooting shows are archived at Jim's House of Videos at 318-869-0439, or you can find them on the internet, www.jimshouseofvideos.com. We want to recognize Custom Leatherwork and Saddlery in Denham Springs, Louisiana, area 225-667-9225. Also, Brooks Communication in Albuquerque, New Mexico, area 505-888-2929. And Camouflage Technologies, they're at area 909-674-6488. And we have Gearlings Equipment Rental, Southern California, area 909-354-6476. Friends, thank you so much for being with us on today's program. We look forward to seeing you on the next Shooting Show.